broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This is the Firearms Radio Network. This edition of Gun Guy Radio is supplied by Alien Gear Holsters. AlienGearHolsters.com.
Welcome to episode 146 of Gun Guy Radio. This is a podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Jake Challen, and this is your weekly dose of positive firearms talk without politics. And again, we have a special guest from Brownells, the category manager known as Paul Levy. Hey, Paul.
Yes, I'm known as that. Hey, Jake.
So how's it going? I hear Brownells is on the verge of a big move.
We're in process of the big move. Not sure when everyone's going to listen to this. We're about close to the end of November here, and we're moving to our new building in Grinnell. It's about 200,000 square feet. It's kind of a showroom that opens next year. So it's quite the undertaking, moving a few 10,000, about 60,000 products in a week or so. But we're trying our best at that right now.
A showroom next year. So what do you guys have planned for that?
We're going to have products on display. We're going to have gunsmiths on site giving demos. There's going to be a lot of hands-on product that you can really just kind of experience, and you can order anything there too. So if you're driving through Iowa on I-80, you want to place a Brownells order, just step right in, enter your order, and we'll bring it up to you. So it'll be pretty nice. You get to kind of hang out in a gun environment while you wait for your order, and you don't have to pay shipping. So that's a nice plus.
All of our listeners that are truck drivers just sent out a cheer.
Yeah. I'm kind of worried our truck driver parking, like our semi parking, isn't big enough. But we should have plenty of parking. It's going to be a great spot. We're right in the middle of Iowa, so we got tons of traffic through there on 80. It's going to be really a destination stop for a lot of people, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Awesome. Can't wait to make it out there myself next year. So what's the estimated open date of that?
I'm not sure on that. It'll probably be early, mid next year, something like that. Okay. It's kind of still up in the air. They at least have the building done right now, and then they got to furnish it with all the displays and all that good stuff. So it's still a little ways out. And a good thing is my office will be over there too, so you can stop in and say hi there. Awesome.
Very cool. So, busy holiday season is upon us, and Thanksgiving is a week away. Recording this.
Yep. And of course, with Thanksgiving, you have Black Friday and Cyber Monday and all the deals. We've been running a lot of deals here as of late, anyways. So we're just going to keep it going, keep going through the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and we got some pretty good stuff, especially if you're in the market for ARs. I'll throw out there's going to be a great deal on some Model 7 actions, which is a kind of interesting deal. So keep your eye out. There's going to be some good stuff on there.
Very cool. And, you can shop through GunGuyRadio.com. Just look for the Brownells banners to shop through the Brownells affiliate links we have. And also, if it's not at Brownells, you can probably find it at Amazon. And you can also shop our Amazon affiliate link this holiday season for the loved ones in your lives. So just check that out, GunGuyRadio.com, and look for those affiliate banners. Get into the main topic. So for this week's show, we're talking a little bit about the hobbyist gunsmith and the tools that you might use, or she.
Yep. I brought on a few tools, just some real basic items that really everybody has on their bench. I'm sure anybody that's worked with firearms a little bit has done something fairly dumb, scratched a receiver, getting a pin out, or marring a barrel when they didn't use a proper block in the vise or something like that. So a lot of these will prevent those issues. You're not going to. It's hard to stop stupid sometimes, but a lot of these are going to be the right tool for the job. They're not super specialized either. I didn't want to bring on anything that is just okay. You're working on this gun, fixing this thing. A lot of these tools have really broad application, even outside of just your tool, your workbench. So stuff that's handy around the house, especially magnet tip sets. I use those on stuff around the house more than I do guns. But really, some key items if you want to be tinkering with firearms or going even a little bit further than that and doing your own custom work.
Absolutely. I've marred up an AR-15 receiver pretty bad before. So.
Yeah. And we always hear the stories around here of the people doing the trigger guard roll pin on a trigger guard and just snapping off that ear on the lower. That's a pretty common one around here.
Yep. So. No, I luckily I didn't do that, but
yeah, we sell tools and parts that'll fix that specific issue. Speaking of roll pins, I'll dive right into those.
Sure.
Really, it's one of the best investments you can make is punches, roll pin holders. Because really, if you don't get a roll pin or a pin driven incorrectly, it's going to be a terrible time getting it back out, or you're just going to ugly up your gun. So I brought in some of the Brownells holders and punches. We have a whole bunch on the website, of course, to choose from. We did just add some premium holders and punches. They're real nice. This is one of the premium roll pin holders, and it's just machined pretty much perfectly, and has a great finish on it. The nice thing about these is they're made very well and concentric, so you're not going to be, if you hit it off, you're not going to snap your holder or your punch. I have done that with cheaper punches before, especially the thinner ones.
Oh yeah.
If you don't hit them square, they'll snap or fly across the room, and it's worthless at that point. So these are some of the premium ones, all steel, made in the USA. Pretty much all Brownells tools are made in the USA, if not all of them. And then those are just a few of those. I should note that this is one of the starter roll pin punches. And when you're looking for these are great little tools. I don't know if you can see it on the video. And those listening, it's a punch with a little nub on the end that sits into the roll pin recess and kind of guides it in to ensure you're hitting that roll pin in straight.
Right,
holders,
and yeah, why don't you go ahead and describe the holders too for the audio?
Yeah, and the holders is essentially a punch with a hole in the very end, so that the roll pin will actually sit into the punch or in the starter. Essentially allows you to start the roll pin straight, so that if you've ever tried it, you got to hold the roll pin and your punch and then your hammer all at the same time and keep them all straight. It's not exactly fun. This allows you to use just two hands instead of three, which is a nice investment. If you've done that before, you wouldn't realize what are you doing?
Yeah, no, they are totally worth every penny. The roll pin holders are amazing.
Yeah. And then also, we do have some specialized ones. I did bring some of those on. We do have some specialized roll pin starters and punches just for the AR-15 that'll often have a notch cut out to get. Mainly it's that bolt catch on an AR-15 that's kind of a pain because it's along the side of the receiver and you got to have a long punch, especially to get it out. And this one here, this punch, what I have here is essentially a punch cut in half. So that you could still have the entire how the end is, it's still a whole punch at the end, but then ground down, so it's only half of a punch. So you can kind of work around the side of the receiver without marring it up.
Yeah, those are real nice. I've used that specific punch as well on the AR-15 build. Well worth the investment.
Yeah, and I still usually tape up my receivers just in case, just a little bit, because I'm that guy that's going to scratch them regardless. And then speaking of scratching things, I brought on some just brass larger punches. These are really handy for punching in sights. You don't always need a sight mover. They're great in certain applications, especially if you're installing like tritium sights. You don't want to damage the lamps. But these are great for just installing dovetail sights. The brass isn't going to mar up your sight or your slide. If it slides up, it may leave a nice gold streak that you can remove, but it's not going to damage or ding it. Also have one with a nylon end here too, which is really not going to mar it.
I haven't seen those nylon.
Yep. And these are all Brownell's punches. The brass ones are great because they're big, hefty, especially when you're tapping at a sight. You want a lot of mass and make sure it's got a lot of contact with the sight, so you're not bending this or just slipping off your sight. So really pretty handy there. And then another just kind of basic shop tool. Well, a lot of these are basic shop tools, but a file or a file set. This is one of our just Swiss files here. But really having a few of these, especially if you plan on delving into handgun fitting, especially the 1911 slide frames, that type of thing, you're going to need a file. And really, a lot of firearms, you're going to get a part that just doesn't quite fit. And it's obvious how it's not going to fit. You can remove just a little material here and there. And a file is really essential to have, a good file. You can go out and buy stuff wherever, but they may not last you, or it's just not going to look pretty. We have a whole bunch of files to choose from. We have them included in kits, too. We have a lot of great 1911 fitting kits that'll include a file, some stones, which I'll touch on here in a second. They can get your own 1911 built and operated smoothly anyways. So this is kind of a tool that I think a lot of people just don't get into because they don't think they'll need it, but it does come in handy, and it can really just if you find yourself in trouble, it can fix a lot of things.
Right. So how do I pick what file I might need for an application?
It's really going to depend on how much material you're going to want to remove. And also you'll want to research and just look at the different nomenclature for files because it does vary quite a bit. But usually we take care of that for you, especially in our descriptions or, in our kits. We've got files for specific applications, like our 1911 slide frame files. They're specifically sized just to fit into a 1911 slide or frame.
Oh, nice.
And it goes from there. And they're also numbered from finer to just like any other grit or something like that. They're numbered consecutively. So you'll go from there. Really, you want to start off, probably get the finer files to work with, especially if you're doing something with a 1911.
Okay, very cool.
And then moving on, kind of with that, because they're often included in kits together here, and we find people buy them together, are some stones. Here I have some just ceramic ones. Arkansas stones are also great. Mine's a little dirty there. But the stones are fantastic, especially when you're doing trigger work. You're not going to be using this really on an AR-15, really in any application. But say you're going to do trigger or hammer and sear work on a 1911, you're going to need a stone. You're going to need to be able to stone the sear and then the hammer engagement. So really, this is a vital tool if you plan on doing that. And it keeps you from really botching it because on a 1911 sear and hammer, you have to keep everything square. The great thing about these ceramic stones is they're already square. They're perfectly square. So if you're moving along there, you're not going to have some odd angle on it. So really comes in handy, cleans up your work. If you did have to file it, you can clean it up afterwards with a stone. So really handy, especially if you plan on doing trigger work.
So you're saying I shouldn't use a round stone on my 1911?
Probably not. Yeah, you may clean up your barrel link with that, but no, not with that type of stone. And those are the really files. Stones have so many applications. You could branch off to so many different things. Really, for the hobbyist, the guy starting out, you're going to want those things because you'll use them at some point. Or you'll find you want to go off and try something out. Most things you're going to want to try out probably involve a file or a stone. And then just moving along, I should have talked about this when discussing the punches. Just our simple nylon and brass hammer. Maybe I brought this on previously, but it's a simple hammer, brass and nylon side. Again, non-marring, so you can get pretty much anything done. It's not gigantic, so you're probably not going to be doing some more difficult things with this. But for tapping in sights, getting pins in and out, this is hard to beat. I use a hammer this size pretty much more than anything else on my bench anyways.
Yeah, I have that same hammer. It's a really handy size. Weighs just 6 ounces. It's not too long of a handle. And, having that brass and nylon option on the same hammer is pretty nice. Yeah,
and I pretty much always just leave this one out just because I use it that often. It's on my bench top. And then along with that, which is another thing that's always on my bench top, is just a bench block. We have a few of these that are tailored to certain tasks. This one here is just kind of your basic, we call it the rifle bench block, but really you can use pistol stuff on it too. It's just real simple. It's a big Delrin block. It's not a injected plastic block. This thing is pretty stout for being what it is. And it's solid. It's not like there's any outside of the holes drilled in it. It's one piece of Delrin. It's basically a giant hockey puck to put it.
I was going to say, did you guys find a hockey puck manufacturer to make those?
Yeah. And some people do use hockey pucks. That is a great do-it-yourself kind of bench block. You just could take that, channel out yourself, drill some holes in it, you got a bench block. If you don't have a hockey puck or you want something more tailored to what you're doing, bench blocks are a great option. And then you can say you're doing a certain task, you can just Dremel this out. It's dense, but it machines very easy. It's just Delrin. And again, non-marring, which most good tools like that are. We do sell some steel bench blocks. If you really have to hit something pretty hard to get it out, or say you're working on an unfinished firearm and you don't care if it gets a little scratched from hard, you're going to finish it afterwards. But for regular use, it's hard to beat this guy.
Alien Gear Holsters, the most comfortable and concealable holsters on the planet, is offering big savings with our new 2-holster combo. Now you can buy 2 complete holsters for as little as $49.88. Choose from any available holster styles and colors for the guns of your choice. All of Alien Gear's quality products are made right here in the USA and include a 30-day trial, forever warranty, and free shell trades for life. Visit aliengearholsters.com today.
On to regular use stuff. I got some. I don't think I mentioned these to you earlier, but these are just some vice jaws, some leather ones. I use these quite a bit, just throwing stuff in a vice. Again, so you don't mar whatever you're doing. I used some aluminum vice blocks once, probably pretty much improperly. Didn't get snug enough and really marred a barrel. These leather ones are great because you can't mar something with these. Get it nice and snug. People have been using leather blocks or pads forever. And they still do their job to this day. So that's what I'd recommend if you're using your vise a lot and you're throwing stuff in there. Get a pair of these, especially if you're using like a Geisy reaction rod. If you just put the reaction rod in the vise and then you try to work with it, it'll tilt up and down. If you throw in these leather pads, it'll stay in place. It's due to the friction.
Huh. So interesting.
Pretty handy, and they're inexpensive, and it just solves a lot of problems. And for, say, just moving sights out, take your slide off, throw your slide in your vise with these, and you use the brass punch, tap out the rear sight, and you're good. So you need about 3 tools to install, 3 fairly inexpensive tools to remove your sights, or install new ones, though. Pretty handy there. Moving along, most people may have this already, especially if they're into reloading, but just calipers. I brought these just because these are hard. This is a simple, I think this is a Lyman here. There's dial caliper. Digitals are, of course, great just for reading off the numbers real quick. But you'll find yourself using calipers all the time, especially if you actually follow instructions when doing something.
Wait, what?
And then a little bit more specialized, I'll get into a few specialized items, and then I'll wrap it up with the magnetip sets. Headspace gauges. You find yourself working, say, with ARs a lot, 223 or something like that, or 308. Get some headspace gauges. Just check that new barrel you just installed. It's hard to beat. Get a go, no go, and a field. You can maybe get by with a field, but you really want to have all 3. And I'll go through what each one does. A go gauge, you insert that with your ejector and extractor removed and your chamber nice and clean. With a go gauge and your bolt closes, it's good. You want it to close on a go gauge. For a no-go gauge, you don't want your bolt to close. So no-go, if it doesn't close, that's a good thing. So those 2 you can check just with those. A field gauge is on the outer limits of a no-go. So you drop that in and your bolt doesn't close on it, you're okay, but you may have issues with go. It's called a field gauge because if you're using the military uses a field gauge. You're not going to run into catastrophic failures, like a really dangerous failure. It's just going to check to make sure that your rifle's not going to blow up. So those 3 are great gauges to have. I keep a field gauge just in my magnetip set box when I'm at the range, just cause.
Okay, hold the phone. Go back to calibers for a second. Sinclair makes a group measuring caliber.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that product, but for group measuring, you do have to measure from the proper. In competition, you have to measure from the proper spot from where the bullet impacted. So Sinclair caters to the precision shooter that competes at 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
They measure groups in the tenth or less of an inch. So those guys have to be exact. So that's why Sinclair is great for precision. They do everything precise. It's their measures, all their tools, their reloading tools. It's on the extreme end of precision. So they got everything precision.
I just think it'd be great me shooting with my buddies and be like, here, let me whip out my group caliber. What?
Yeah, for the groups I usually shoot, I don't need a measurement.
Yeah. Let me get a yardstick here.
Yeah. And then some general tools, wrap it up with those. Oh, I forgot about the armorer's wrench. For AR-15s, if you're working on those, you're going to need an armorer's wrench. We sell a few different models. This is the Smith here. This is pretty much the go-to armorer's wrench. It's got a nice Parkerized finish. It's durable. It's not like a cheap cast steel. These don't break. It's intended for GI, just barrel nuts, or free float tubes. And then it's got cutouts for, flash hiders there, and then the buttstock on an A2. So really pretty handy. There's tons of these with different options on them. Go do your research, pick a good quality one. Magpul just came out with one that's fantastic. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on one of those. But buy a good one. It's really hard to beat. And they also most of them have attachments for a 1/2-inch drive or something like that. So you can properly torque your barrel on. So really, if you're working on ARs, get one of these. I don't know how you'd install or mess with the barrel without it. And spend a little bit of money and get a good one.
Right, and you guys have some armorer's toolkits. I don't know if you're going to mention those or not, but I think this comes in one of your AR-15 kits.
Yeah, and that's right. I did mention, I think I discussed on a previous podcast, just the critical toolkit, and that wrench is included in it.
Okay.
And that you'll need a block, a upper receiver block for AR, or a Geizy reaction rod, which I mentioned earlier, something like that, to put your upper receiver in a vise. You don't just want to throw your upper in a vise and clamp down on it because you'll crush the walls on that aluminum receiver. So don't do that. So there's a few more tools you need. I wanted to bring that on just because there's pretty much any of the upper attachments work well, but you might regret it if you go out and don't spend money on a good quality armorer's wrench.
Yeah.
And then wrapping it up with a few just screwdrivers and then Allen wrenches. I always keep one of these on my bench. I find I use this as much as anything, installing scope rings or what have you. Just some Allen wrenches. An Allen wrench set. This one's from Bondus, but we sell a few others that are just as handy. Keep a metric and a standard because there's always that.
And that's another good thing not to cheap out on, because I've had Allen wrenches that they just strip the end of the Allen wrench off.
Oh yeah, yep. It's amazing how much stuff is out there that, like, you go out and buy, like, it's that time of year where everybody's buying these tool sets that are, I don't know, you buy them at maybe Sears or something like that, or Walmart, and they got all the little bits and the hammer and the screwdriver, and then everything just bends.
They're just all junk. Yeah, the screwdriver tips break off and everything bends. Yeah. Terrible.
Tools just don't go cheap. I think your listeners probably know that pretty well. And then on that, screwdriver bits breaking, I got a magnetip set here. I can't recall if I talked about these before or not, but
it's been a while if we have. I used to give those away quite a bit. I know listeners really like them.
Yeah, the magnetip sets are really one of Brownell's just flagship items. This is my set here with a nice Criterion Barrels sticker on it. But they come in a nice little case. Let's see if I can dump all these out onto my lap. Come in a nice little case. And the great thing is you can buy different bits to add them in. All the standard kits come with the flatheads. The original idea with the magnetip set was a lot of the Gunsmith, any screwdrivers of the day were just simple hardware store screwdrivers that had just a angled tip like this. And for gun screws, they're usually very fine, especially on a lot of various shotguns. And we've all done it where you just round off a screw and the screw is ruined. Well, on a gun, you can't really ruin that screw, especially if you're working on it for a customer. So what the magnetip set does, it provides all those screws, or those bits, I should say, in various sizes, and thicknesses, and lengths. So you can have this selection to pick from when you're working on a firearm and make sure you get an exact fit so there's no wiggle room between that screw and your bit, and you're not damaging screws or breaking bits when you're working on them. I have yet to break a magnetip bit. From my understanding, they're made from very hard steel, so if they do break, they're just going to snap, not bend and just gouge everything. So that's another great benefit with them. And they're also produced so that they don't have this kind of angled tip. They taper in, but they enter the screw straight. So they're not, when you go to tighten it, you're not forcing the screw out because it's angled. They're going to stay nice and snug, especially if you match the size to whatever you're working on. So really hard to beat with just those. And then, of course, there's Allen bits, other attachments.
Are there star bits and stuff like that?
I believe so. I don't have any handy. They do fit standard screwdriver bits, just I believe it's a 1/4-inch bits. So you can, if you have like hex bits from somewhere else, the handles will still work with them. So that's handy. And then there's all sorts of just very specific bits as well, ones that work with just certain model screws. There's also various handles. You can buy all sorts of lengths. Getting in different places, applying different torque. There's a little short guy. And then for one thing that I've found to be really useful, it's just a simple upgrade. It's just a little extender, because you'll find that there's buttstock screws or something that's just recessed so far where just this length won't cut it. So the extender just goes in like a normal bit, and then you can attach a bit to the end. So then all of a sudden you can reach into a buttstock. Really handy. I found I use this almost as much as anything.
That's really cool. Huh. Yeah, I've rounded more star bits off than anything, I think. That's something that's hard to find, and when you do find them, they're usually Chinese made, and then, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to ask about that. That's one of those bits that you just don't see on firearms too much.
Right.
I'm sure it's going to crop up more.
Yeah, it's not on firearms that I've seen, but yeah, it's on a lot of automotive applications and different things I worked on.
You do see them a lot now on scope rings, the torque screws on scope rings. I'm sure we got them. The great thing with a lot of scope rings now, and manufacturers, they provide an Allen wrench that's usually pretty good quality, and then like a Vibratite or something. I think it was Aero Precision, actually, their mounts, their new optic mounts, come with this really nice Allen wrench that has a plastic pretty much flag on it so you can turn it. It's not just the typical Allen wrench like this. It's got a large plastic handle on it, which is pretty handy, and really a nice little, I thought it was a nice feature of the mount.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I like it when manufacturers include quality tools with their stuff. I think that's going to probably become a new standard in the future. Oh, yeah, I think so. Yep. So, yeah, final thoughts on gunsmithing tools for the hobbyist like myself? Yeah, I think, you can go out and buy some cheap stuff, and it'll last for one or two jobs. But if you're getting into guns, just go out and spend money on a quality tool, especially some of these type of tools, because you'll find you use them over and over, and you won't regret that. We've all been there where we've had a tool break or something break like the day we bought it, and it's just nothing but frustration. You'll forget about the extra $5 or something 5 years from now. If you just spend it now, it's a non-issue. Yeah, absolutely. And well, with this holiday season, maybe you can put some of these things on your shopping list and purchase through the Gun Guy Radio affiliate link. I'm just saying. There you go. All right. Well, that sounds sounds like we'll have to get together here after the probably, let's see here. This is November 20th, so we'll probably get together right before Christmas, actually, for the next episode.
Yeah, and hopefully at that time I maybe have some insight onto stuff coming up at SHOT Show. We can go over some maybe new products we see out there. We already got some of those ordered, and we're looking at some exciting new products. So hopefully I can get some samples and bring those on and share them with everyone.
Yeah, give us a little SHOT Show preview. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Duluth Trading Company, if you're looking for some manly winter workwear, like the men's ballroom 5-pocket flannel line jeans, you can check that out. I've, it's I don't know if it's because it's got cold so quick here, Paul, but I've been wearing flannel line jeans like every day, and it's not even January, so I
might have to pick some of those up. I'm actually wearing the fire hose pants right now.
Oh, you are? Awesome.
And they're actually, the thing I like about them is the front pockets are so large. If I needed, I could pocket carry a Glock 19 in the front pocket of these with no issue.
Yeah, I love the pocket size. Yeah, I've mentioned that before too. They'd be pretty good for pocket carry.
Yeah.
I've confession here. I had a gift card to a store, and so I picked up some other brand jeans that you might know, and other brand jeans I used to wear, and I thought I'd add a few more pairs of pants to my collection, and man, I regret it because the pockets are like children's pants or something.
Yeah,
I'm like, what's going on here?
Any pockets on everything's a designer jean and you can barely get your hand in. And then if you do want a pocket carry, you're not getting your hand in those pants.
Right. Well, I can't even get my keys out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. But yeah, so check out Duluth Trading Company flannel line jeans. I have a special link in the show notes, gunguyradio.com/Duluth as well. And just want to hit on our Patreon real quick. That's how you can crowdfund Gun Guy Radio by just pledging maybe $1 an episode. If you pledge $1 an episode, we'll send you a couple high-quality stickers, one Gun Guy Radio and one Firearms Radio Network sticker. And I just actually sent those out to all the patrons. So if you're a patron of Gun Guy Radio or This Week in Guns, your stickers are in the mail. And I'll be sending some more battle boxes out. I got the first one out for the first guy that signed up for the $15 level, where you get a huge battle box full of swag and other cool stuff like the LA Police Gear bailout bags, LA Police Gear tactical flashlights, $50 Duluth Trading Company gift card, Duke Cannon Supply gift ammo can full of 5 big-ass bricks of soap. Too much to the list here. GunGoddess.com, $25 gift cards, and it goes on and on and on. So if you pledge at the $15 level for our Patreon, you get all that cool swag. About every 3 months or so, we send that swag boxes, battle boxes like that out. So check it out. Patreon.com/gun is how you sign up to pledge. And also hunterdesign.com if you're looking for any graphics artwork. Check out Ryan Cross's work at hunterofdesign.com. Well, Paul, that about wraps up the episode. I'll let you get back to moving all that warehouse stuff over to the new warehouse.
Just me doing it, yep.
Yeah, got your little hand cart and everything.
Yep. Yeah, stop by when the store opens. It's going to be pretty impressive.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. So you can leave your feedback or share your thoughts by leaving a comment on the bottom of the show notes. Also, remember to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode. And please leave us that iTunes review. And consider joining the NRA or the Second Amendment Foundation. And don't forget to shop Brownells using our affiliate link or shop Amazon using our affiliate link. And don't forget to check out all the other awesome shows on the Firearms Radio Network. Well, Paul, thank you so much. Appreciate you lending your time to the program.
No problem.
And we'll see you in about 4 weeks then.
All right. See you then.
All right. And I'll see you next week.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv. Tired of paying high ammo prices? Want more bang for your buck? Need high volume or precision loads? The Reloading Podcast has you covered. From single stage to progressive, the Reloading Podcast has something for everyone. For those who have never pulled a lever, now's the time to start reloading your own cartridges. For those with gunpowder coating your workbench floor, now's the time to take your loads to the next level. ReloadingPodcast.com or search Reloading Podcast on iTunes or your favorite podcatcher app.